Okay.
Wait.
Rich, you have the written request for these years?
Yes, we're all attached.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, I would like to open the Thursday, December 7th, 2017 Board of Health meeting. This meeting is being recorded audio and visually, so roll call please.
Dave Williams?
Here.
Elizabeth Stevens? Here. Dave Adams?
Here. Okay.
And Higgins?
Sorry?
Welcome.
Sorry? I'm just...
And Anthony Costali?
Yep.
Roland Larshall?
Here. Not used to it. I'm not used to it. That a lot.
Because there's so many.
Usually it's done after 2. I just want to add an agenda item right here, just to introduce the new members and just have them, they want something to say. So first, in no particular order of, I don't want to start trouble, but we'll start from the left. I'm left-handed. Tony, you want to introduce yourself?
Anthony Postali, Tony, call me either, it doesn't really matter. It's a pleasure to be here on the board. I've been a resident of Southbridge for about 13 years now, and this is my first position on anything to do with the town, so I look forward to being hopefully a helpful citizen to Southbridge.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you. And Mr. La Rochelle, and you certainly can't say this is your first rodeo.
Well, it's my first rodeo on a board,
Yeah.
but Roland La Rochelle, lifelong resident, retired firefighter here in town after 33 years, and presently teach hazardous materials at the Fire Academy, and thought with my background I could bring some assistance to the board.
Okay, great, thank you.
You've got something to say.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, agenda, oh, I'm sorry.
I missed his name, and could he tell us something about his background?
Okay.
Just for fun?
Oh, me? Anthony Postali, Tony.
Postali?
Postali, you got it. My background, I have an extensive background in insurance. I've worked at the Hanover Insurance Group for well over 20 years. Some of it in the medical field, and now I'm actually I'm in the property arena right now.
Thank you.
You will?
Okay. All right. Agenda item number 3.
I had asked a question.
Acceptance of minutes. Only 3 of us can vote on that. But if the other 2 members have questions or concerns, it'd be a good time to raise it. Showing you number 8. So, anyone want to make a motion? I didn't find anything. Okay, all in favor? All right, all set.
Who seconded that?
I did.
David. He just didn't know.
No, I did. That's fine.
I saw it.
You saw it in my eyes.
I saw it in your eyes. All right, agenda item number 4, citizens forum. If there's anybody here, is anything that they want to bring up to the board? You want to come up here, or is it quick that you just want
Real
to?
quick, I wanted to know what's going on with the properties, blighted properties, specifically the building downtown and 9 Rose Street.
Okay, do you want to cover that in health director announcements, or?
I can respond now, or I can do it then.
Okay, it's up to you. You want to, if it's part of a larger, you respond, you can do it to help, but you're.
No, 300 Main Street has been purchased, and I don't know if you've noticed there has been some activity there. They are starting to reface the burn side of the building. So work has begun on taking the blight away from that building. He indicated to me today, as a matter of fact, that he expects windows by the end of January. He's gonna, depending on weather, he's gonna apply some painting to that. So that one is well on its way to becoming unblighted. 9 Rose Street, we had in court in November. He has a 90-day window to tear the building down. We have a court order to tear that one down. It is before January 30th. thereafter, the town will petition, if he doesn't do it, the town will petition the courts to recognize chapter 143 and chapter 111 and have the town go in and take it down and leave the property.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Are
can you just state your name, I'm sorry.
Richmond Clements,
Yeah,
Clements Hill.
yeah.
Are you talking about the dumpsters at all tonight?
Yeah.
Trash recycling?
Yeah, we are talking about solid waste regulations,
Okay.
so we are, and that would be a perfect time to do that.
One more.
Okay,
One more. One more.
yeah,
Can we get an update on Lippies?
that's also on the agenda.
Okay, beautiful.
So, anything else? All right, so let's move on to agenda number 5, old business. 5A, well testing update, Pleasant Street and Clemens Hill.
The board asked me to investigate into testing the private wells again on Clemens Hill and Pleasant Street to basically determine a pattern, if a pattern exists, is it consistent, is it dynamic, is it moving? We have identified qualified people who wanted to participate in the program. I believe we had 8 participants, and 2 of them have since dropped off because the testing time won't be convenient for them. Actually, one of them didn't want to pay their part of the private well testing, and the other one, they were going to be out when the testing's going to be done. I say going to be done, but actually the testing, and I will check tomorrow to make sure it happened, but it should happen today. So all of the samples should be taken as of today, and we are now just awaiting the results of the testing. Again, the organic side of it is private unless they want to make it public. Some of them did mark that they'll give us information. The VOC side will come to us, and we did find that funding within our budget. We didn't have to go to council for that.
You meant the inorganics was private.
The VOCs will come to the board. The basic tests, your ammonias, your nitrates, clarity, the basic well test stuff can be held private.
Right, that's the inorganics, right?
Yeah. Right.
Andy, there was originally like 41
No,
homes,
it's
right?
not inorganics. Volatile organics are a specific group of organics, but there's organics involved in, like coliforms and stuff, I believe are organics.
Okay, all right. The bio, okay, all right. I was just thinking the nitrates and, that's the test, that's the basic test, the hardness, the nitrates,
Yep.
and all. So. Okay, is that it?
That's all I got unless there's questions.
So we're down to like 6 people who got the testing, and we're waiting on the results of the VOCs that will come to the board.
Yep.
Okay.
Andy, that was still at $300 each
The,
for the VOCs?
I believe our side is $300 each. The citizen side is in the 200 plus range.
Okay. All set? Any other questions, concerns? All right, agenda item 5B, update of the TOTA program.
Just wanted to give an announcement that the toters have all been purchased, assembled, and distributed. All of the calls, they're going to continue to trickle in. Basically, I didn't get one, or why did you deliver 7 to me? I'm only a single family. As of right now, we are breaking even on that. Every call that's come in, we have addressed. I believe we have 2 or 3 more recycling quotas to get distributed. Thereafter, the program will be in place. Obviously, we expect further calls, but hopefully they'll be trickling in rather than pouring in. We have noticed that the distribution company was overly efficient in assembling the carts, and the little caps on the end of the wheels tend to fall off. We encourage anybody to call us. We will get out there and get good caps on tight. But that has really been the only angst regarding the distribution and assembly. With the toters all distributed now, next step will be a couple months of education where we will be going out, driving the streets, looking for bags outside of containment, looking for unqualified carts, non-compliant carts. As you recall, the plan was 1 cart for trash and the rest is logically should be trying to get recycled. We are getting a push from Casella for purity of recycling. The quality is way down and they're getting, it's affecting their ability to move the stuff. That, I told them right out, our primary goal is containment right now. Containment and recycling increase, thereafter we'll start working on quality. But right now, I believe it's the board's opinion, we need to get our streets cleaned up. So I'm looking for containment right out of the gate.
When you say quality, you mean of the recycling? Do you mean people putting items in there that it shouldn't be?
Yeah, if you end up with soiled paper, it's not marketable. I actually was doing a cockroach infested at our house, and just for kicks, I flipped open one of the recycling toters and...
Pizza boxes.
No, jack-o'-lanterns, rotted pumpkins sitting on top of all of the paper, so essentially that whole load is contaminated and probably can't be marketed. But it will go into the truck with the rest of the recycling and ultimately probably end up in the trash rather than recycling.
So it's like an education program, like so that other people know what it should be.
We'll launch it as an education program. Eric and I are working on, I've got Eric working on stickers that he brings to me. Initially, the stickers will, again, my efforts are going to be entertainment. Thereafter, we'll probably get another set of stickers that we can put on the cans that say, basically, we observed your recycling and it's contaminated due to this, this, and this. Please be aware of the purity of the product.
Okay.
But we will try to work with Casella after we've got decent containment.
Okay.
Dave, I have a question.
Yeah, Dave, yeah.
Quick question, Andy. We talked about this at Halloween. So I have a container that you can use for trash, picked up and stuff like that, and I know a lot of the residents do.
Yep.
How do we go about, and we want to turn that into a recycling bin.
Yep.
How do we go about, or residents go about, do we just piece of paper on there, recycling, or do we have to do, what do we need to
No,
do?
we have the stickers.
Well,
I think you ran out.
I'll see if we have any stickers. If we don't, then we'll get with either the county prison system or Center Hope and we'll get something.
Okay.
But
I'm asking because
ultimately,
other
you
people are
should-
asking as well. So
Yeah.
I know we ran out of stickers.
We allowed in the regulation,
Yeah.
we allowed in the regulation that they can use other compliant containers for recycling as long as there's a sticker on it that says recycling.
I think it said clearly labeled.
Yeah.
I think it just says clearly labeled, not a sticker, but, so if I
Right.
could write recycle. I guess.
They could write recycle or you could put paper on it, but we're gonna have to put that paper on it every week. because
Well, I was gonna use tape over it.
So, anything that's labeled, and we'll get with Casella to make sure they pick that up as recycling.
Andy, I have a question. Has the issue with the recycling, is this something new, or has this always been going on? I wonder what's happened.
I cannot claim naivety to it. I'm aware of what people put into recycling. I used to work in Auburn. I see what comes into their recycling or their MRF. And what they pick out is probably 30%, 20 to 30%, just not acceptable. Since coming here, as I said, I flipped open the can on Halloween and I saw 2 jack-o'-lanterns in there. So I'm aware of it. It's not something new. It's something that we do have to get our efforts into. Morally responsible as well as making sure the product is right. If they start diverting our recycling to trash, the state keeps track of your percentage of recycling as opposed to waste. If they divert it to trash, it's going to go against our recycling rates. So we want to get on top of that.
All set?
Yes.
Anything? Yep.
What do we have for cash left over of recycling bins, or do we?
The recycling bins were bought out of it wasn't a capital improvement account, but it was monies assigned to us for that. Whatever we didn't use for the toters has to be returned
Okay.
because it was a special assignment of monies. We do, however, have some monies in a recycling efforts fund. So we will use that to work on the stickers, to work on the education for both containment and thereafter for quality.
Because I know social medias and things like that, there's a lot of citizens out there that don't realize that they can have a second recycling bin.
Okay.
And I'm all, recycle.
The
But as
town,
long as it follows the parameters marked in,
the town will also make available additional recycle bins, we have some, and I was gonna say unfortunately, but the reality is to maintain the program, we would have to charge our fee for a second one. So if you want the same type of toter, you can get one.
Are they
One of
both sizes, the 96, and I see the little one out there too?
I am actually working with Casella right now, because we don't use a whole lot of the 32-gallon ones. For me to buy them would be ridiculous money because I'd have to buy at an individual price. I have asked Jerry Galina of Casella, the next time he orders up some small ones, to basically assign 25 or 30 of them to us. We're gonna buy them from him at his price, or at his price plus small profit. But at least we won't be paying the individual profit and shipping all the way from Texas. So I believe Tota's in Texas. So I am attempting to get some of the 32s. Ideally, we'd like to put the 32s with people who have trouble moving the bigger ones. Our senior citizens, our people with difficulties. Like to assign those to them. The idea, remember, is to maximize recycling. So I like the big 96-gallon totes for recycling. I'd like to see 2 96-gallon totes for recycling. And a 10-gallon for trash. Yeah.
I was just wondering what's out there, because the option for the citizens that they want to recycle more, what's available.
We can offer our cans, and then when they are done with them, when they move, when they cut their family down to one person and no longer need a second can, it's a deposit. So what we'll do is we'll take back the can the second can.
Perfect.
We'll give them back their deposit,
If you work, then you know.
minus whatever it costs us to clean it. So we'll probably send it, strap it to my truck, drive it to a car wash and see how it works, but whatever it takes.
Perfect, thank you.
All set?
Yep.
I believe there was a citizen with a total question.
Actually, it was the solid waste. You had
Yeah,
issues.
when
Was
they-
it the solid waste or the toter?
The toter.
Okay, so you're,
So when they dump them, then they never put the covers back on them. They always leave them open. And if it's raining, they're gonna get wet. And if in the wintertime, if you put your trash in there, it's gonna freeze to the bottom. Then the bag could rip, or just a thought, they should close the covers when they're done.
Okay, covers have been a problem with working with every curbside program. Very difficult to get that, one, to enforce that. Two, when they go to the more automated trucks. Part of the purpose of a decent program is they can get better automation out of it without hurting themselves. But when they go to the fully automated truck, they won't even be getting out of the vehicle, so there won't be an option to close covers. It'll be lifted and put down. So.
okay, all set?
Also,
Okay. Agenda item 5C, solid waste regulations as adopted, signature needed. Oh, I'm sorry. It is, what do I have? 6:51, and I would like to suspend the general meeting and go to public hearings. And I would like to have a motion to open a public hearing in Lippy's Package Store to determine actions to retail food permit. This is a continuation from our October 26th meeting. Make a motion. So moved. Okay. All in favor? Okay. So all set. So let's have an update. Yeah. How are you?
Final inspection was requested for Monday for the awning, for the rebuild of that facade. The building inspector did come. The only thing that he had asked for was he wanted the exposed wood on the front flash. Not a requirement of code, an extra cost to me, so that will be done either tomorrow or Saturday after speaking with the contractor, so the final will be done on that. Mr. Pelletier was there last Thursday along with Maritza. The liquor license was transferred on approval last Thursday. It is in Boston's hands now, so when it comes back, that will be done. The reason that the property hasn't closed is because we have the open building permit. Upon that final sign off, then we'll close on it.
Andy, questions, comments?
This is this Thursday, still got a stained ceiling, but it doesn't look like any recent water damage. Floor is still cracked, peeling, and difficult to clean. Again, not a critical health concern. From origin, this was just an action on failure to comply.
Okay.
Which I've complied.
Any, Dave?
No, I have nothing.
Okay. So, I think we're all set, right? Are we just, I don't believe that there's any further action needed on this unless something else comes forward?
Yeah,
No.
the license has been transferred. I think the ownership is going to be transferred soon.
You said next Thursday? Is that what you're looking at? I'm sorry.
No. Last Thursday, the transfer of the license was approved. It goes to Boston now, it could take 10 days or 2 months.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, just close another permit.
That, well, we're gonna request the final as soon as he does the facade, the metal flashing on the front, which should be requested for Monday.
Okay.
And then he'll just drive by and say we did what he asked, and that permit will be closed and dropped back off at your office. I think he'll pick it up and bring it with him, I believe.
Usually comes on site, does the inspection, signs the permit, and takes it with him.
Okay.
If the citizen wishes a copy, they can request a copy from the office.
Okay, and so we can close this. We don't have to see you one more time and you'll have to join the board.
Thank you.
All right, I think we're all set on that. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing for Lippy's Package Store. All those in favor? Okay, this meeting is closed. If it's accepted.
The hearing is closed, I would propose that you just either dismiss or take an action. Because even though the hearing is closed, there is still an open question on the license. So it either gets dismissed or an action takes place regarding the license.
Not sure what's our best move here. I'm hesitant about a dismissal until everything is.
I think we agreed that as long as that person's sale is still pending, he still continues to come see us. Because that person's sale is not done. Did I miss something
The
there?
purchase and sale is not completed yet.
Because of
Because of the permit.
Of the property, I believe the
So
license.
that's just
the
a,
license is not his now, so.
yeah, building is though.
But that's the liquor license. Maritza, the food license, of which we take action on or don't take action on here, is still under Joe, right? So the food license still exists under Joe. I believe he's still the operator of the establishment until the AAB and Boston says no longer your license, his license. In which case, he'll have to come to us and pull food permit.
Okay, so our options are dismiss and
Dismiss, continue, or take some kind of action.
I think continue, right? Until
Make a
we're.
motion to continue with them to meet once a month until, or each meeting until the matter's closed. The purchase and sale of the building and the property, and that the liquor license is finalized by the state.
Okay, got a motion? You want to second that?
Second.
Okay, second. Any discussion?
So then I would propose that you add the building permit to that. It's still an open permit. I know it's probably going to be closed next week, but it's still an open permit. And if something should happen that it doesn't get closed, you don't want to have to bring that back in.
Okay.
Maybe modify the motion.
It's Maritza, do you have it? Do you have the wording?
Motion to continue until the purchase and sales been completed.
With the building permit
To
and
appear once
The
a
liquor
month.
license.
the license and the permit.
So I can modify, I'll modify that motion.
Dave, if you want, the motion can be as simple as motion to continue.
Okay.
Aside from that, there's an understanding that you're looking for all the things that started to be finished.
All paperwork completed.
Just a motion to
All
continue.
right, well, I'll make a motion to continue, that's, we already said that already.
Okay, just a motion to continue. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. We haven't changed anything. Any other further discussion? Okay, if none, all those in favor to continue? Okay, we'll be continuing that and you'll inform
Mr. Finnegan.
Mr. Finnegan about this, okay? Okay, it's a little bit early, but I see Holy Trinity here, so if it's, what? Why I can't?
Because it's announced for a specific time.
So,
Anybody who saw this agenda has a right to comment on it.
sorry,
No, sure.
We'll jump back in about 15 minutes. So where are we right now? New business? No, we did.
Old business.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, we were still on 5C. 5C, solid waste regulations. So we had regulations that we have discussed as a board. We have had public input on several times. We have modified it based on the input. And I believe we are at the final copy right now.
We have voted on it.
And we just need to sign it, right?
Just need to be signed. So,
So, the signature page was off because of no longer, that's not the current board. So,
that was the board at the vote.
so the current board members, even though we voted this through and this is the current vote and we're signing now, they don't sign
weren't
it.
a part of the vote.
Okay. Okay. Good.
You cleaned it up?
Not that we don't love you guys.
Yes. Look at it.
There you go.
Sounds
We'll take one.
right,
Cleaned it up as to punctuation. We made 0 changes to wording.
I know.
There was strong suggestions that some shalls and some mays should be changed, but the wording is what the board voted on. We can't change that once it goes.
I
They don't
know,
like
just making sure that the printed
exec
copy is the good copy here that I read.
She don't like you either.
Executrix. Administrator administrative. Executrix. Okay, so that has been signed. So we'll move on to new business. So, set policy reorganization and appointment of the board. Annie and I had a discussion about this since we have new members on the board, whether we need to reorganize. And I talked to the registrar, Maddie, and she says you don't reorganize every time you get new members. You reorganize, on the town side during the vote. But by the same token, I think I'd actually would like to include something, and I know it sounds counterintuitive that I should not want this, but I do believe that if the board feels a majority, but we can decide what that is, that the chairman is not doing the job properly, that there should be a way to remove that person from the chair, and not have to wait for the whole year. So we've had a situation in the past where a former chairman was ill, and I think we might need to make decisions for the best interest of the board. So that was just put on the table. What's best for the town, what's best for the Board of Health, what that looks like. I mean, that does not mean that you can now start a coup to overthrow me, but what are your thoughts? We just put that on it for your thoughts about whether we just reorganize when every other board reorganizes.
When Sue came on. Well, we asked him a date, actually. We just re-voted for the
chair, yeah.
For chairman.
Is that a requirement though?
Maddie said no. She said we didn't do that before. But we just need to, whatever we decide, let's do it. So we can't reorganize whenever somebody new comes onto the board.
Right.
That's ridiculous. Right now, we should reorganize, let's say, July 1st. We're not like a regular town council where you are seated, July 1, or the school committee. So we don't have a set date. So we can set a date to do reorganization. We could set up a policy to, we should at least do that, but we also might want to set a policy of removing the chair if the majority of the board feels that we would be better off with a new chair. And believe me, I'm fine with it. I mean, it's,
No, but it's a smart
We
move,
need-
especially if something were to happen
Right.
to you or to the vice chair, something were to happen. And like you said in probably previous boards that you had, it's smart to have that fallback plan.
the discussion should be made before we have to make that discussion. Right.
So my only thought is, our appointments are supposed to be staggered anyway. So we have people like appointed for 3 years.
Right.
And they're supposed to be staggered, so that like every year, there's either a reappointment of that individual or a new person.
So I think, agree that at the very least, we should have, I want to come back, at the very least, we should reorganize, I would say July 1st, like everybody
Like
else.
when the appointments come up.
When the appointments.
Fiscal year, yeah.
First meeting in July.
First meeting in July,
I
okay.
mean, I think
Yeah,
that
I
makes
agree with that.
sense.
Okay, and is that or do we want to have a Board of Health provision also to, a back door in case something?
I'm okay with that.
Roland, were you fine with just the July, or?
No, it should be just once a year, new fiscal year, start from scratch, go from there.
Okay, and then we just
My
decide,
opinion.
because it can be done informally, it's like, look, you really need to step down.
But I think if we're gonna do this to be transparent, we make it formal and do it at the first meeting in July.
Right, I agree, and that's at the
Open
very,
session be done.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then we give us a chance to look at some information from Robert's rules and stuff to see if anything applies to wording or verbiage on reappointing somebody, should they not be able to fulfill the duties or have to step down.
okay. Would you like to do a little reading from your passage?
There actually exists,
Somebody brought Robert's rule.
there exists a procedure for removing the chair. Dave came to me when we set the agenda, and he said, well, if we're gonna talk about a policy for reorg, let's include this, and, which I said, plans on moving to Venice, and he just smiled. So it came to me, I put it on the agenda without having an opportunity to investigate what it's all about. Except as the bylaw may provide otherwise, any regularly elected officer, the chair being an officer elected by this board, of a permanent society, the board's a permanent society, can be deposed from office for cause, misconduct, neglect of duty, stuff like that. And it goes into, it would be a very similar to vote as a vote to rescind. If it were put on the agenda as what they call it is a previously notice, and we have the exact wording of, so if this week somebody proposed exact wording to remove Dave, we could do it by a majority vote at the next meeting, as long as we don't make any alterations to that. Make any alteration worse than the motion. If we can loosen the motion, but we can't make it worse,
I get it.
in which case, majority vote can win. If it's done by unannounced, otherwise, we put on the agenda for the next meeting, we want to discuss action against the chair, action to remove the chair, but it's not exact. That would be a unannounced, it'd be announced, but it'd be an unannounced, or I forget the word they used, and it would have to be by a 2/3 vote.
Okay.
So, by Robert's rules, it can be done by 3 members of this board, if it's specifically announced what we intend to do, by 4 members of this board if we don't.
Okay, well, that seems, I think that's perfect.
It's a fallback plan. It's already there.
It achieves the goal of, if there's ever a problem, that, the board should be able to decide who's the chair. Okay, it shouldn't have to wait. Okay, all right, so I'm happy with that. Are we all, we're all set? We're just, so we have a reorganization for the first meeting in July, right?
Yeah.
To coincide with the appointments.
To coincide with the. All right, we all set? With A, anyone else for that? Okay, agenda item 6B, emergency response, ICE incident command, emergency dispensing, public health, roles department, board members discussion. Off you go.
Well, Roland can be our backup.
Roland.
He'll be your backup, I should say.
I think I think there's some logic.
I didn't bring my PowerPoint in this one.
We've been a very,
Relax.
let's go with dynamic. Fluid, I like the word fluid, we've been a very fluid board. We have current, so we need to present to the state and all the powers that be, FEMA, MEMA,
DPH.
Roland, you know. We have to do a call down of, basically, it's power of authority. Right now, it is not power of authority, the board always has the authority, but kind of like the go-to person. Correct? Currently, it's me first, then we put Maritza in as probably the second person who knows most what's going on. And because of Sue's position in Connecticut and her familiarity, we put her on as third person that would be called. Obviously, that's not an option now. So we would need a third person in the call down list. Excuse me? What was that?
I didn't hear anything. So I didn't hear roll.
She shuts it, I don't know.
So before,
And what is a possibility? I might argue that Roland, being so deeply involved in the fire department, might not be available in an emergency.
I'm not in the fire.
He's retired.
Retired.
Fire department.
Still do law.
I do
Teaching.
teaching at the
Okay.
fire academy,
Then I-
so my schedule is flexible.
I'm open to anybody,
so before we railroad a member of our board, let's have,
What was that last agenda?
let's have, you have questions, comments, concerns about a suggestion of who?
It sounds like you want someone in place with some background, correct?
Well, and
Well,
that's, and with Roland's background,
So I defer to,
done everything for emergency response.
this is going to be the person that the state calls and says, this emergency is going on, so
Right, and
nothing personal.
I think out of all of us, quite frankly, I think that Roland is the best person